guys, welcome back to my channel, and those of you that are joining for the first time, make sure you hit subscribe. All right, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any of our videos, because we be on it popping. We have a whole rotation of a lot of different videos that we do weekly, and I have some more that I'm most likely going to be starting next week, so definitely be on the lookout for some new little treats. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about this episode. This is pretty much John and Megan. So Ty, his best friend, John's best friend, was the person who reached out to the show because he feels like something's going on. Like things aren't making sense to him, and he wants to make sure his bestie is good. All right, so he's been talking to this girl for a few months, and this is John I'm talking about. And Megan, she's 27, she has 2 kids, and John has 3 boys. So, you know, it's kind of cool because they both have kids, they can both relate and things like that. But they haven't spoken or video chatted, so that seems kind of weird, especially to his friend Ty. Like, he's just not buying the fact that it just doesn't make sense. So Megan, she doesn't post a lot on social media from what she says, and she keeps her kids pretty much like away from the father. So that's another reason why she doesn't really post her kids or anything like that. John did discover, based upon her posts, that she has a Twitch and she has a YouTube. So she's an influencer, okay? She be streaming. So it's like, hold up, if she be streaming and doing all these things, why can't she take a moment to, you know, video chat you if she's such a social butterfly? You know, things is just not adding up, and it's kind of weird. And on top of that, she don't even live too far from them. So it's like something's wrong as far as like why this person isn't trying to like talk to you really, or do anything, or move further in the relationship that they've been having. So he said he sent her photos of himself as well as photos of his kids, but she hasn't sent him any photos of his kids. Like, I'm like, bro, like, you really over here just sending your kids to any just random Joe Schmo from the internet? Couldn't be me, you know what I'm saying? Unless they're on my social media and you just so happen to be part of my social media. Like, no, I'm not gonna go ahead and do that, all right? So yeah. But yeah, his TV had broke, and something that was cool about her was that she actually offered to buy him a TV. But then something happened. I forgot what she said. I think she said her car broke down or something like that. So she ended up not even giving him the TV. But he did confirm that somebody had actually sold her the TV, which was one of her friends, and it was up on social media. So he's like, okay, at least I know that this story is real, that she did buy the TV. Unless, you know, it was all part of the plan, you know, because she knows that he has her on social media, and he's looking at things. But all their conversations go through Messenger, and Neve and Cammy, they start doing their research, you know, check out her profiles and stuff like that. And they find out that Megan's profile is for a streamer, a pretty popular streamer. And she actually goes by a different name, which is Miranda, not Melissa, not Megan. Then the reason why I said Melissa is because Melissa is the person who shows on her Facebook that actually sold her the TV. So of course, this person seems like they know her, so let's go out and reach out to her. So they reach out to this Melissa person, and they said it was busy, but then they called Neve. And the weird thing about it was some guy on the phone talking about he was her husband and she's busy. But they did sell Megan a phone. They did sell Megan a TV. And both of them are the ones that run this Melissa person's Facebook account. So they share an account. Like, where they do that at? Who shares an account? Unless you're like 70 years old. But anyway, I don't know. It's kind of weird to me personally. Unless you have like a legitimate business. Like, I don't see why you would share a Facebook account. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so they share a Facebook account or whatever, and he says, yeah, we sold her a TV. You know, Megan, she looked exactly like the pictures, and that was it. Like, That right there was a super duper red flag, because how you just throwing this out there that, like, yeah, she looked like her pictures. Like, who even asked about that? That was like super weird, and definitely like somebody took the cookie from the cookie jar, like, and I got caught red-handed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That was just like a little bit odd. He said his name was Phil, like I said, and he was the husband. So now they tell John everything that they learned, and they end up reaching out to Megan, and boom, the same night, John gets 2 messages from Megan's friends saying, you know, call off the whole catfish thing. She's spooked by it, and, you know, she will talk to you. Just send the catfish people away, cancel the whole thing, you know? And they both sent very similar text messages to him. So of course, they knew, like, okay, this is somebody pretending to be somebody else and just kind of playing this game at this point. So it turns out that the number one of the numbers, I guess, of those people that messaged him actually belongs to somebody named Melissa. And that's pretty much the person that they reached out to before. And then the husband was the one who said, you know, my name is Phil, blah blah blah. So yeah, everything's like all connected. So Melissa they text her, you know, whatever. She ends up telling them, you know, just come to DC and I'm gonna convince Megan to show up. And it was like just as simple as that. It's like, damn, that was fast and easy. You know, what happened to all the waiting and all this other stuff? Like, it was freaking easier than they thought. So now when they pull up, they see the TV out there, and, you know, it had a little note there as well. But when they pulled up to the door, she actually came out. And lo and behold, it was a catfish, okay? Her name was not freaking Megan or anything else, Miranda or anybody else. It was actually Doris, completely different, not even with an M. Like, what the hell? Come to find out, Melissa is Doris' best friend, so she was kind of like in on the whole thing, trying to make everything look a little more real and try to, like, you know, hold her down and make sure everything was good. And Phil, he's another one of her friends. He just, you know, was trying to help her out as well. But obviously, he ain't the person to call if you get in trouble with the cops or the law or something. Because, homie, the way he answered that question, all of y'all would have been in handcuffs, honey. Because that was not it. I'm like, yo, he is not the person to call if you need to lie. You about to go to jail, call somebody else for real. Like, woo. But they asked her how old she was, because obviously she's not 27. She didn't want to say her age. I'm assuming she's probably like closer in her 40s or so. But she was totally playing the victim role. Like, she was trying to like force out tears, and her emotions were like all over the place. I do feel like something was going on with her mentally. So, you know, of course, I try to tread lightly when I see those types of things. And as you guys know, I am a relationship coach, and I'm also a mental health ambassador. So I try to, like, you know, but with her, she was definitely trying to also gaslight him, and she was also trying to, like Cammie had mentioned, manipulate him, because she was saying, but there's a thin line between manipulation and sharing your feelings. That's the part that sometimes a lot of us, including myself in the past, I've definitely had somebody tell me like, oh, you're manipulating me. But I feel like more so is because they weren't in tune with their emotions. So it's like when I try to tell them something about how I personally feel, it's like, oh, you're manipulating. No, I'm trying to tell you how I feel. If that influences your decision into feeling guilty or feeling sad or whatever the emotion was that you were starting to feel, that's you, you know, that's not because of me, because I'm just sharing my experience with you. So, but I do feel like she was, you know, gearing more towards the side of manipulation and just trying, because she knew that he had been manipulated before. She knew how easy it would be to kind of, if they weren't there, she would have definitely reeled him in, and he would have most likely continued on with the relationship with her. That's definitely what the vibe I was getting. She was deflecting a lot and just not really answering the questions. Based on the age questions, she like moved on to like how she's been hurt and she has trauma, and it's like, wait, you're not even answering the question that we asked you. You're just moving on and hoping that we forget and don't ask you anymore about that, which I feel like it kind of worked because they didn't press it, or maybe they just was like, we're not going to keep on pressing it, because they did ask more than once. But he was obviously hurt by everything. I feel like the biggest thing for him, and I do feel like he has some things going on as well, I do feel like the biggest thing for him was that she lied to him. And he actually believed everything that she said. And for certain people, once you lie to them, you're completely like done. Like they will not even allow you to come back into their space because they don't trust easily. So when they do trust you, it's like, wow, are you kidding me? Like, like you've lied to me for all these months. And she's like, I didn't think you would be so shallow that way, because we had an emotional connection. But it wasn't about being... See, this is the part where it was a manipulation, where I see where Cammie's coming from. It's not that he's shallow. It's that you lied to him. Like, you're just trying to sweep that part under the rug, the part where you effed up and the part where you threw the relationship out the window. And you could have told him these things at any moment throughout the course of the relationship that you guys were building, but you chose not to do it. So, yes, he has a right to be mad. He has a right to just throw you in the freaking gutter. You know what I mean? So, I feel like that's where she was kind of doing the whole manipulation, playing victim, gaslighting thing. Like, dude, like, this is, you're trying to like alter his whole reality, because he was even saying he had to like go take a break for a moment, when Cammie was sitting there, and she mentioned to him, like, he was saying like, oh, maybe I'll still talk to her as a friend or whatever, but I can't really trust her because she lied to me. And she was like, yeah, and she's manipulating you. She brought that up. And once he realized, like, wait, I am being manipulated, like, it's like something turned on his head, and he was like, he started advocating for himself. And Cammie was also advocating for him as well, because initially he would have kind of just let it go by, especially if she would have like apologized. He probably would have been like, you know what, okay, at least we can be friends. But that kind of solidified it once he realized, like, yeah, you're trying to play me right now. He even said that to her, like, you're trying to play me. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Oh my Lord. But then 2 months later, they did the recap and everything, and John, he said that he's still using the TV. At least he got something out of it. He got a free TV for all his trauma and all, the pain and suffering that she caused him. He, at least, she did one nice thing and kept her word with that. That's the one piece of truth that she did. But he said he hasn't spoken to her since that day, and I feel like that was mainly because of Cammie's influence. And as far as Doris, she looks happy, she looks quirky and just good. And she said she was good. She said that she doesn't miss John. I was like, what? Like, dang, you act like he's the supervillain. She said she doesn't miss John, and it was different seeing him in person. And they're like, well, maybe it's because, of what you did to him that caused him to be a little different. And she was just like, oh, she still felt like he should have been open, even though, she didn't look the way that she looked in the photos. He still should have been open because of their connection or whatever, or because of the emotional stuff, and she wouldn't have done that. And they're like, well, everybody's different. Like, no, you can't just be like, oh, well, it didn't matter, it's okay. Like, you still, at the end of the day, even though she deleted her, the page or whatever, she's still justifying the fact that what she did was wrong, and she still doesn't fully understand the damage that she did to him, and I'm pretty sure now this is going to have an effect on him in his future, because the past does affect your future. Even if you don't realize it, subconsciously it can affect relationships that he has. It can affect like the way he moves forward, if he wants to get in relationships, just because of this particular situation. I mean, hopefully he moves forward and he's able to find someone IRL, in real life, as opposed to on the internet, because as you can see, he is somebody that can, be told lies and possibly fall for it. But yeah, you guys, that's what I thought about the episode. It was a good one. It was decent, it wasn't one of those super shockers, but it was pretty good though. I got my little feeling. All right, guys, I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Later.